Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Arts Unfiltered. Happy New Year. Before we dive in, let me just say this. This isn't New Year, new Arts Unfiltered. It's Arts Unfiltered with more context. We are still here, we've just gone deeper. And I know a lot of us like to shrug off the new year. We say it's just a new day, nothing special, no big change. And yes, life doesn't magically reset because the calendar flipped. But at the same time, we do celebrate birthdays. We mark milestones with the same calendar. So a little intentionality at the start of the year isn't a bad thing at all, in my perspective. So I like to say, here we are, same us, but we plan to go a little deeper this year. First things first, we are starting a new season. Season 1 was a journey, and I like to think we ended it in a pretty iconic way with episode 25 closing 2025. Now, in this season, we need to expand the reach a bit. A little reminder that Arts Unfiltered isn't your regular podcast. It's meant to be a companion for adults having these thoughts but not having the right words. We won't gatekeep. Everyone is welcome here. So, some plans for this season: we will be more active on social media to keep the conversation alive beyond the episode. And there is also a plan to start bringing in guests, hopefully before the third quarter of the year, to give more perspective and depth. There's a lot to unravel both for the episode and personally. So I'm excited for this journey. Now let's get into today's episode. Now, before the year ended, I was thinking about something that I'm sure many of us have thought about too. The concept of introverts, extroverts, and how we define ourselves. And it hits me, there's a lot of identity foreclosure going on. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people aren't sure if they are introverts because they naturally are, or if they were forced to be. And that's what I like to call the pseudo-introvert or adaptive introversion. There are people who adopt introverted behaviors, staying quiet, avoiding attention, or staying home as a defense mechanism. And because it could be that they grew up in a household where being seen but not heard was the rule, or emotional expression led to conflicts. So people tend to marks as introverts just to stay safe, Now, the difference is that a true introvert feels peace in solitude. However, a pseudo-introvert might feel lonely, restless, or anxious in solitude, but chooses it because socializing feels unsafe. There is also something called situational or socially inhibited behavior, often trauma or family dynamics, like having overbearing or neglectful parents. So it prevents a person from exploring their social boundaries. In this case, these individuals lean into caution because they haven't had the psychological safety to test out extroverted traits. They are not naturally introverted, they're just protective. And then there is the extroverted introvert or suppressed extroverts. Sometimes natural extroverts are conditioned into introversion. Maybe social interactions were exhausting or behaviors were suppressed, and suddenly connecting with people feels foreign. So if you find yourself thriving when you finally connect with the right people, but spent years thinking you hate socializing, you might actually be a suppressed extrovert. So I know that was a lot here, but thinking about all of this led me to realize something. Most of the topics we've explored before, they all kind of burn down to one place: childhood. That's the inception, the genesis of so many patterns we carry. In the next few episodes, we'll aim to unpack what actual introversion, extroversion, and ambiversion really mean. Hopefully, this will help you explore who you really are before we dive deeper into the series on childhood. So yeah, closing the year, I kind of mentioned that I had a lot planned, but they were way too deep to end the year with. So yeah, that's what we're starting the year with. A lot to talk about this year. Now, of course, a reminder, I'm not a psychologist, at least not yet, but I do my research before I share this thought. So everything I say is based on studies and psychological insights alongside my reflections. So yeah, here's to a new year, same me, but with more depth. So let's go. Bye guys. See you in the next episodes.